All right. What's up, everybody? What's up? Hopefully, everybody had a good day, and hopefully, you didn't get caught on the wrong side of the market today. I will state that today was not one of my best days, but we're going to talk about that once we get back into the charts. For now, we're going to jump into the news going in for tomorrow. So let's jump into that. Okay, so obviously today we had CPI today, and it came in better than expected. Initially, we saw a massive pump off of that news, and then right after that pump, we saw a massive sell-off. The sell-off that we would have had if we've had regular price action for both sides of the markets could have participated, and because of that, we had a lot of people selling out of their positions, causing a chain reaction in the markets. And the market closed down about, I think we got to what, 900. We closed about 500 to 600 points down today on the Nasdaq. So that was fun trying to catch bounces. What could have been a really red day, but we did find some support at the end of the day. So we'll talk about that when we get in the charts. But going into tomorrow, we do have PPI going into tomorrow. Now, PPI is not necessarily a market mover. It's usually released after CPI. No, I wouldn't say that the market isn't concerned about the producer. However, we don't see real reactions in the market with PPI unless it's released first before CPI, and then we might get a continuation with CPI in those cases. But I usually don't see a real reaction in the market if we get CPI first and then PPI. So we're still going to keep our eyes out for this news release going into tomorrow because it could have a delayed effect like it usually does. We might not get the initial reaction at 7:30, but we'll definitely feel it throughout the entirety of tomorrow's session. And of course, tomorrow is Friday, so it's Free Cash Friday. The market does tend to run, so we're going to have to pay close attention to that. At 9 o'clock, we do have the consumer sentiment and the consumer inflation expectation at 9 o'clock. And basically, that's all we have for tomorrow. So with that said, let's jump into the charts. Let's jump into the charts. Okay. So this is the Nasdaq chart. We're going to start with the higher time frame charts and then make our way down. So as you can see, look at this massive move down. And you can see that we found support here at 377. I don't know if we talked about this level last night. I think we was looking at this 535 to about 435 yesterday. But as you can see, price broke below these ranges and it found support here at 374. Now, what I'm going to be looking for going into tomorrow, I do expect more downside. I do expect for the market to bounce around that 300 to 295 level. So I do expect for the market to continue to trade down into this range. And from here, this is where we can possibly see a move up to retest higher structure and possibly retest this 616 level, because this is where we broke out from in the session. Because once we got a break of that level, all the levels that were underneath it, it was just basically liquidity. Another key level that broke was this 580 level. So that 580 level and 616 level, I mean, they're so close together, they might as well be, it just might as well be a range actually, because of how close together they are. So I expect that if we see a move overnight into this range, it is highly likely that the bears will come in and we may see a move down to that 2030 to 295 level here on these charts. Now, if the bulls do trade back into this and we get a break of that level and a retest, well, this changes the story. We can possibly see price continue to trade to the upside, retesting this 730 area, or you can see that move to the downside. So this range, this 618 to about 580, 590, that range is going to be very important moving forward because that's really going to dictate the direction the market goes into in terms of price action for tomorrow if we get it. Now, we did see a bounce here on the Nasdaq at open. The market it does appear that the market formed a strong low and we got support right here, and the market could possibly shoot up higher to that 580 to 618 range. And I think that's more likely to happen going into tomorrow's session. We've had this massive move down. I'm pretty sure that the bears are taking profits. You can already see that they've already taken profits, and now the market is trying to make a move back up to the upside now that the bears have taken some of their profits. But with tomorrow being Friday, we getting that massive move down. We still have unfinished business going to the downside. I don't think this 371 area would hold. Or actually, it did hold. Okay, so this did hold. But if we get a retest of this area with little to no price action here, I highly doubt that we'll get much traction. Honestly, a move down to that 295 to 273, somewhere in this range will possibly be the best opportunities going in to tomorrow's session. Let's actually look at a smaller time frame chart on this so we can get a better idea of what's going on. So as you can see, so let me get a clean chart. There we go. So as you can see, I mean, we're getting a lot of price action in this range right now. We got rejection. We had a rejection here. And as price made an attempt to trade past this level, we got a break. We had that second attempt to push out of this level. And this is where we made our lower low. And now it's appearing that, at least for right now, the market is making a rejection here at the top of this range to possibly trade lower into that area that I got my eye on. Now, we do see that there is support here at this 400 to 380 level. And I'm pretty sure if the bulls fail to protect this potential double bottom, we can definitely see that super liquidity for that move lower. Honestly, now that the bears have really shown back up and the bulls failing to take price higher after this massive sell-off, I am more inclined to not necessarily the downside, but I want to see these lower levels, like the business that's underneath these ranges. I want to see that get completed before I go gun-ho with a long. Now, the market could definitely come back in tomorrow, and the bulls can take back, maybe, if not this entire move, maybe 25 to 50% of this move going into tomorrow's session. But we're definitely going to have to be very patient, because if you was watching the Think with Bookmap channel, you saw that there was a lot of selling. The CVD was negative. I think it reached a high of 11. It reached a high of negative 11K. And with all that selling and no buying, is definitely going to need to have a lot of confirmation with market structure or taking a risk reward trade if you're going to the long side. Now, just because the market is bearish doesn't mean that we should blindly get into a short. Obviously, the short trades have already happened, or at least the best ones. Right now, price is in this range. And unlike the ES, you can kind of get away with shorting in the middle if that's what you choose to do. Because I'm pretty sure we can at least get a double bottom here if we get a break of this low. And like I said before, if the bulls fail to defend this low, then what I want to see is a strong close underneath this low. I want to see price come back up into this range. And from here, this will be your short opportunity for a test lower. But we need to see the price action, and we need to see the confirmation that the bears are still in control of this market and that the bulls are not stepping up. I will look at the hourly chart, and from there, this is, no, I didn't actually look at RTY. I'll look at that later on after the ES. Yeah, I usually don't look at the Russell, but it seems that the Dow and the Russell has definitely been where the money is going. And I'm not going to lie, I absolutely hate that when I miss opportunities like that. Yeah, okay, so looking at this hourly chart, you can definitely see that if we get a break below this low, if the bulls do not defend this low at 370, our next level of support is down here around 233, 278, so 280. So yeah. So it looks like around 280, 280, 260, somewhere in this area. And if we get a break below this 200 level, well, shoot, that would be a whole lot of downside, because we got to remember, before we got the CPI release, the market basically trended higher with no price action. So there's not really real support in certain areas. Now, if we look to the left on this hourly chart, yeah, it's not letting me move it. You can see that this is the only real area of support. Two sets around 280, 260, and about 205. This is our next area of real support outside of this. And like I said, if we get a break below that low, this will be the next area. But the question is, how low will this market go? Are we going to give back this entire move? Which I highly doubt. But with a massive move like this, yeah, we're definitely going to need some buyers to step up. Definitely. And so we can get more bullishness in this market. But like I said, tomorrow we could definitely see a recovery from the bulls going into tomorrow. So we're just going to have to wait and monitor the price action overnight. Now, here's the ES chart. On the ES chart, it's more defined. You can see that the bulls found support here at this double bottom at 29. I was able to catch this trade late in the afternoon. I was looking at this support area to go long, and I just set a limit, and I came back and I saw that my limit got filled and I was able to get my targets hit. So I was definitely happy about that, because today was not one of my best days. It started off good, it just didn't end that way. So I needed that win to go into tomorrow. So this is going to be tricky on the ES. I feel that we still have room for downside. I do feel that way. However, The structure that I'm seeing here on the ES, this is a very strong structure. And we know as ES traders that structure kind of means something with the ES, not necessarily the Nasdaq, but with the ES, structure means something. So when I see a strong double bottom, I'm looking for price to continue to trade in that direction until something changes. We could see the market range in this area as it did once it found support here at that level, or we can see the market break down. And what I'm actually looking for is possibly a position here at around 611 to 612. That's actually something that I'm going to be looking for, and I'll show you why. Because we got that bounce here at around 615. But then the start of this move was around 611. So I'm pretty sure if price does find its way back down to 615, we could get a bounce. But I'm definitely going to bet that a better position will be around that 611 area. 611 going into tomorrow. My hopes is that we get decent enough price actions to kind of determine what the market wants to do. Hopefully we don't get choppy price action overnight and we get the market to actually trade in a direction so we can have some continuation going into tomorrow. However, after a day like today, I know that there's going to be a lot of market players that has either blown their accounts or deep green, deep red. And we may see the result of that tomorrow. We may see a lot of chop as well. So we also have to take that into consideration that a lot of people lost a lot of money in this move down. A lot of people. So let's actually look at a smaller time frame with this one. So I think I had another limit here. Let me see. So I think, okay, so that's probably why I had this. So I think I had two limits set. This area right here, 625. I mean, if we get down here, if we get down to the 625 area, I mean, I guess we could possibly see a bounce here. I set this limit in yesterday's session. I assume that if we got if price did break this area right here, that we could see a stop run lower. But there's a lot of support here at 625. There's a lot of support at 625. So actually, I'm gonna probably cancel this. Probably cancel this order. Or let me see. You know what? No, I'm gonna leave it. I'll leave it. 625. Nah, that's not good risk reward. I don't want to take that trade. Yeah, okay. But I really wouldn't be surprised if we do see a bounce at 625. I mean, the hard thing for me to see is how would that make sense for the market to move all the way down? We take out these lows, just the bounce at 625. That doesn't make sense to me. Like I said, a better entry would either be to take out this to bounce here at 615. This will be a better area to go long, or at 611. Somewhere in this range will be prime real estate for long positions. And I would actually feel more comfortable taking a trade that's down here. You can see that if we look to the left, you can see that we got a break from this area. When price came back into it, we got a retest. And I'm going to make the assumption if price does touch this level again, then we can definitely see a move up, or at least a 10-point move to the upside. And all we need is 9. So I'm going to take the bet that if price gets down here, then we'll see that move. So I'm definitely going to be looking out for that. I do see that the market is trying to continue to sell off. So just be mindful with your longs. If you're going to choose the long this, just be mindful. Let's look at the hourly chart, and then we can look at, yeah. So as you can see on the hourly chart, you can see that we are continuing to sell off. We still haven't broken the last hour's candle. I would definitely want to see what price does if it gets into this 29.30 area. I'm going to make the assumption that it's going to break it overnight. I'm going to make that assumption. It's going to break it. But the market is obviously still bearish. And if you look at the NQ, we're getting the same price action here on the NQ. And it does look like we're going to get, okay, so this candle is about to close in about 1 minute. So, all right. So let's get into gold. So we caught this move on gold last night. We entered in around, I forgot where we entered in at actually. All I know is that we took about 8 cents of drawdown, and I think our target was somewhere, if it was not at 24.07, it was probably in this golden zone. I know it was 178 ticks. It was 178 ticks on the on this play. 170, about 180 ticks, whatever 1800 is. But that was a good gold play last night. We're still like 100% in all of our gold plays. However, right now the risk to reward is obviously if you're in this long, a retest of this high should be your target if you're in this long right now. I do see that there is an area of support here in this area, and this is where they're finding support. If you look to the left on this, we might have to get into it. Okay, there it goes. All right, so I don't think the market is going to stop there. Okay. So the market does have some more room for upside potentially. It doesn't mean that it'll make it all overnight without any retracements, but it does look like the market wants to at least come back and retest this area around 20, what is this, 24.33, 24.33, 24.33. All right, so 24.33. Up, and then it lines up with that golden zone too. It does line up with that golden zone. So, and we were just talking about this high, and they did reject from that. So, So we got a rejection. They failed to take it higher. So the market might actually be going down. We may see a retracement. Okay. So I would feel comfortable getting in along here around that 23.99. If we can see price come down here, 99 to about 96. Let's actually look at the gold and see what these traders are actually All right, so 23.96. Huh. So we do got some 24, 23.99 is what I'm looking for. All right, so we do have a lot of people that's trying to come in at 2400, right around that 23.99 area that we talked about. And yeah, that would make sense. We did see a bounce here at 2400, but I think they're going to try to run those lows a little bit, sweep the liquidity underneath it. And I'm guessing if people want to get in here, they're okay with the liquidity sweep. But if you kind of want a perfect entry, that 23.99 will probably be a better entry. It'll probably be a better one. But gold also made a massive move to the upside. So usually what I see with gold is once we make massive moves, we do see a retracement. And it's usually bigger than the entire move. So yeah, we're just going to have to see with gold going into tomorrow. We're definitely going to have to see with that. But the last thing we'll talk about is we'll talk about trading view, because I want to see what happened in the Russell. Wow. So people rotated out of the S&Ps, the S&P and the Nasdaq to get into the Russell. Wow. Wow. And retail is doing bad in this economy, so I'm surprised that they would actually rotate their money in these types of stocks. I mean, I guess they're not volatile. I guess that's what I guess that's going to be my assumption. These things aren't volatile. You know what to expect. I mean, we got to break out from this range, and from that, we had that massive short squeeze higher going into today. So I guess if you was long, trading the RTY was the place to be apparently. YM, let's get the Dow. Yeah, it seemed like the Dow was also bullish today. What the hell happened, huh? What the hell happened? We got an initial drop and once the news got released, we had this massive pump up higher. We had somewhat of a drop, but it wasn't as nasty as it was on the ES and the NQ, obviously. It was not as nasty. So we saw both bullishness in both the Nasdaq or not the Nasdaq, the Dow and the Russell. So, who knew? Let's look at the daily candle on NQ, then R2Y. All right, so let's look at that. Yeah, that's crazy. That is a massive daily candle. Massive daily candle. And you said NQ. Yeah. So, I mean, it's obvious we had a break of yesterday's. We have a bearish engulfing candle. So we really shouldn't be expecting too much bullishness unless the bulls just come out with a vengeance, like a super vengeance, because of this bearish engulfing candle that takes not only yesterday's candle, the day before that, it literally engulfs 3 days of price action. And it's coming to this area of support. So And that's where we saw that bounce right there today. That's where we saw that bounce. Yeah, I don't think we go back down to the 19Ks. That would be absurd. That'd be outrageous. Oof. Yeah, 295. Yeah, okay, so 270. Yeah, okay. Yeah, these tops. Yeah, we can definitely see 270, 280 tomorrow. Or if price does trade into this area, we can definitely see a bounce here. You can see that 270 was resistance for a long time, or at least 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, for 8 days. We did get price to trade over that level, but it came right back down. So that doesn't count. And yeah, so that 270 level is definitely going to be a crucial area for tomorrow if price does continue to trade to the downside. So just watch out for that. But that's all I have. I appreciate those that join, and we'll do this again tomorrow. Peace out.